Hello everyone, welcome back. Today is February 3rd. I will be talking about leather oud. It is below freezing outside at the moment out here in Texas. Lots of sleet and some ice on the road. I thought it'd be the perfect time to make this video, and this was my scent of the day as well. I got this about 2 weeks ago and had been wearing it quite a bit, and so I finally thought it's a good time to make the video. So like I said, I got it 2 weeks ago. I wore it 4 days in a row, actually. As soon as I got it, wore it all weekend. As soon as I unboxed it, I sprayed it into my arms and played some video games. And while I was playing the video games, I would keep putting my nose on my arm just because it was so addicting. Has a really great opening for about 30 minutes. Really harsh and strong leather scent. When I first sprayed it on, I wasn't repulsed by it at all, because I lean towards heavier fragrances. So I'm not sure if that just... I know there's been some reformulations and stuff, so maybe it's that, maybe it's more mainstream now, but I had kept hearing that the initial release or the original release was a lot more animalic. This one's pretty straightforward, really strong leather note. I get a little bit of diesel in there. I'm not even sure if that's part of it, but it does remind me a little bit of Fahrenheit, kind of that rough texture of it. And so the following day after I unboxed it and everything, I decided to wear it to work. I take my fragrances to work in my backpack, and this thing took up quite a bit of space in there. I'm used to only buying 50 ml sized bottles, so 1.7 fluid ounces. I told myself I would never buy anything bigger than that because there's really no point, especially if you have even like 5 or more bottles in your collection. It's kind of hard to go through it all, changing scents every day and all that. Yeah, I never thought I would get a size bottle like this. So this is the 250 ml. I saw someone posted one for sale, and I know this has been discontinued, at least in the US. I know you can still buy it out in Paris in some boutiques, but I was like, oh, why not? Why not get this and experience it? Because lots of people love it, and I love leather. I love oud, so why not try it out? So I completely blind bought this, and I love it. So going back to the size comparisons, I have this hiding in the back, just so you could see the big size difference. This is probably as big as a normal size water bottle, and this is just a regular Queer 28 size 50 ml Le Labo bottle. But I usually take this to work, but I had to fit this in my backpack, so this was kind of chunky and kind of hard to move around, but it's fine. It's got good glass, good quality. I always use some cushion to protect it. But let's continue to talk about the fragrance. I wore this out to work the next day. Was kind of nervous on wearing it, considering all the animalic aspects that people were talking about. So I decided to spray it 30 minutes before I got to work. So put, I think, 4 sprays on my body, drove to work, and got there, clocked in and all that. And by that point, I thought it was already dried down a little bit, but I walked in, and maybe even 30 minutes after that, so 1 hour into my first spray, I walk into the office and I got some coworkers in there. It's kind of a small office, you know, maybe 20 square feet or maybe even less, right? So it's a pretty tight space. A couple people in there. I think there was at least 4 people, including me. So go in there, and one of my coworkers, as we were leaving the office, she's like, "What's that smell?" And I'm like, "Oh, great." And by that point, I was like, "Oh my God, this is not something I'd wear to work." But I was like, "Oh, that's probably me." And I'm like, "Is it bad?" She's like, "No." She's like, "It smells like leather." And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's actually called leather oud." I was like, "I'll show you the bottle later," because I like showing my coworkers what I have and just to kind of let them experience some of the bottles that I bring to work. So then maybe about 2 hours later, I walked by her again, and again she said it smelled really good. She's like, "That's really sticking to you well." And I was like, "Oh wow, you can still smell it?" She's like, "Yeah, it smells really good." And then so nighttime came around and I showed her the bottle again and I let her sniff it out of the atomizer. And she said that it smells a lot different on the atomizer, which is correct. I mean, it's just like the top notes and stuff. But she said it blended really well with my chemistry and my skin. So that's that. Like I said, this is kind of reminded me of Fahrenheit a little bit. It's got the really smoky birch in there. I don't think Fahrenheit has it, but kind of like that burning diesel gasoline note that I get that kind of kept taking me back there. And I initially tried Fahrenheit. Let's see. I was probably in middle school or something, so a long time ago, and my aunt had taken me to a department store and I was just kind of walking around there. I want to say maybe like 2012 or 2013 is when I first smelled Fahrenheit and I fell in love with it then. I was used to like just aquatics, like Cool Water and Curve back then. So smelling Fahrenheit for the first time was a pretty nice experience. So the oud here is very similar to the oud in Banana Republic's Oud Mosaic, which is also a clone of Oud Ispahan. But there's also similarities in Diptyque's Oud Palau. So I feel like all of those three use the same type of oud, kind of really dry, not too dirty or anything like that. Just a simple oud, kind of, I don't want to say mainstream oud, but you know, just something a little easier to wear compared to the Middle Eastern market. I'm really addicted to the opening of this. First 30 minutes are incredible. Gets strong, dirty leather notes along with like a really thick smoke. Just a second ago, I sprayed it before recording this video and my girlfriend came out, so I had to restart the video and she's like, "What are you doing out here smoking?" So I guess she smelled like some type of cigarettes or something. But I don't get any cigarettes. But she thinks all of my fragrances have smoke, which is a good chunk of them, especially this one too. So this one's kind of harsh leather as well, really choppy. This one's kind of giving me a similar vibe. They don't smell close at all, but the same type of DNA as far as like the composition goes. So the leather oud has a really nice clove note as well and a nice spicy cardamom. And to me, it comes off very smooth and well balanced. Like I said, this is the 2019 bottle, so maybe a little, the older versions were dirtier, more animalic, harder to pull off, but I think the current version is very wearable, especially in, I mean, like for example, for me for work, like I have no problem wearing this at all. I spray it generously now, maybe like 4 sprays. Ended up wearing leather oud again on the following day on a Sunday, and sprayed a few more there, and then I think I wore it Monday as well, and then I kind of took a break from it because that first thing I fell in love with it kind of disappeared. I wasn't smelling the leather as much anymore, so I kind of gave it a break, and I wore it again today, and it came back. I get the leather again now, the oud, and just a nice smoke that I love. But the dry down on this one is a little interesting. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Le Labo's Patchouli 24. I do smell a little bit of patchouli, like way deep in there, and that smoky birch that I mentioned earlier. It's kind of like a, I don't know, it gets sweet to me on the dry down, which is nice. Kind of calms down, and it does last quite a bit on me. I've sprayed it, and I think I woke up and it was still there. Doesn't stay on my clothes as much as like some of my other fragrances, but it does have a good lasting power. As far as like getting more Dior's, I have my friend or my former manager going to Paris in May, so I was thinking of having him bring me a bottle of Cuir Canage or something else that's kind of exclusive to Paris at the moment. I also got my eye on Purple Oud, so really excited to try that one day. But other than that, I will let you guys go. Let me know what you think of Dior's Leather Oud, or which ones I should try out. I also did get Gucci's Midnight Stroll, which I wore yesterday, and I really like that one, and I'll make a video once I'm ready for that. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Chanel Sycamore, but I'm not sure where I'm getting that from. Probably like the really deep green cypress or something, but here's Dior's Leather Oud. I'm glad to have it in my collection now, and I'm thinking of giving one of my friends a couple mils just so he can try it out. You know, this is 250. It's quite a bit for me to go through by myself, which I probably never will, so gotta let someone else experience it as well. But until next time.